become home group pastors. They would kind of be our pastoral staff, that there were over people. And so we had to have the responsibilities of pastoral care. So that's what this lesson's about. You want to go ahead and start reading that?
I just wanted to say too that in our case, it may be different on how your pastors are doing the group ministry. But we asked people to go to a home group for 6 months just to be a part of that group, to see how it's done, be a part of that, assisting, helping, inviting people to that group before they start a group.
Okay, so if I want to start a group, I need to go to a group. How many think that makes sense? If you're going to start a new job, maybe you ought to be trained in that job, right?
I think when we started our church back in 1994, we had a team of people that had been meeting together about a year. Seems like there was 25 or so of us. And they were all developed leadership giftings and stuff. And so when we did start, we had about 5 groups that started. Because that was from the beginning, that was our vision. It's the school that we had, and then home group vision, because we've only ever met once a week, except for like when we had conferences. We do conferences every year. So then that would be a series of meetings. And then Bible school was always more, but not everybody came to Bible school. So anyway, so the job description, HUG leadership team must be made up of people who have on their own a meaningful relationship with God.
That's just legalistic. Come on.
They must model all that we teach and embrace. They must accept the role of a servant leader. They must be willing to be under shepherds to God's flock, and they must be committed to the biblical commission to the church and the mission statement of our church.
Okay, I'll just add to this. It says that you must be committed to a biblical commission to the church. And your church teaches the gospel. How many know if you're teaching something really off, something weird, different than the doctrine there, maybe you shouldn't be a home group leader, right?
Right.
You know, you guys need to be passing on what's being taught in your church. That should be a given.
Each person must be thoroughly trained in their area of ministry and understand its value to the effectiveness of the ministry. Meaning, do you have a bigger picture? You know, like we're giving you the bigger picture today, from church to small groups to, World Vision to the Great Commission. You're getting the bigger picture.
Can I just throw this in? It talks about being a servant leader. Now, what does that mean to you when you hear that word? Does the word servant have kind of a negative connotation to anybody? Okay? Because as leaders, we are servant leaders. And we tend to look at as a servant as somebody that's a little bit more lowly, that waits on people. How many know that a king serves?
Yes.
I mean, and gets things done. So we have it already given that anybody who wants to be a home group leader, you are a servant leader. You're called to serve people.
Well, and Jesus was a chief servant.
Come on.
So we're all servants. I mean, ministry is servanthood. Really, that's what it means. It is. So we really have to get that we're serving people. So my team members must be people who accept responsibilities and carry through without a high level of management. And that means you have a track record, doing what you say you're going to do.
Denise, this is getting too legalistic.
He's being totally facetious, you know that. Doing what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it, and then if it doesn't happen, own that and say, for whatever reason, say, I didn't do that, I'm
Take
sorry.
responsibility.
Yeah. Instead of, blaming, just own. That's how we grow.
Can we get a name in somebody here? Is that
Amen.
right? Can you guys see yourself doing that?
And in the New Testament, anyway, every believer is a minister. Every believer is a minister. Okay, so we must be creative and innovative. I like that. Creativity, innovation comes from doing teamwork, being creative in teamwork. They must be continually investing in themselves. So I believe my whole life, till I draw my last breath, I will be investing in myself. I'll be teachable, and I'll be listening to other ministry leaders, receiving from them. It's just my lifestyle. I just want to continually grow. They must have a passion for what they do that motivates them beyond mere observance of procedure. That's what I want to see. When people, and people are people, and in my church too, and when people get an attitude, I just think, go on home. Just, that's how I feel. It's like, you either do this with a good attitude or just go on home. Don't be coming around here with a bad attitude.
Same here.
I like that. I like that.
I mean, we need to do what we do. I mean, there's days that I have a bad attitude, but I don't speak that out on everybody else by the grace of God. Maybe you a little bit, but anyway.
That's the marriage conference. That's the training.
This job description for each team member is spelled out in another chapter of Effective Small Group Ministry, which is the book I recommended, and I can send it to you on an ebook format. It's really very good.
Dr. Jim Richards, correct. So the hub leader is a team leader. How many know you need to be a team leader so you've got a team? You can't leave them in the dust. They must coordinate the activities of the group and oversee the other leaders. The hub leader facilitates the group meetings and coordinates the group ministry. The primary responsibility of a hub leader is the pastoral care of the members of the group. So if this person can be an extension of the pastor to this group of people, I'm telling you, you're multiplying the ministry. And you might ask, well, what if I have a big problem that I don't know what to do? You go to the pastor. Well, how do I know whether I'm to take care of it? Can you take care of it? Is this something that you can do, right? I mean, somebody needs ministry, hey, I can minister to them. Do it. If you can, it's gone a little bit above you, then you go to the pastor and let him know what's going on. And just to say this, and this will come up later, there needs to be a weekly report of your home group that the pastors get. Who showed up, who didn't show up, how did everything work out? Because there needs to be, we call it reporting.
When we take people through this training, and we'll do this, today, we ask the people that are really considering hosting a home group, are you willing to work this plan? And we get a commitment. Yes, I'm willing to work, because we want verbal and written, because in our first church, it was a very large church. The pastor started home groups, and it was a big step for him. And he was a little bit afraid, but he had it on his heart. He was afraid because he knew when you have things like that go on, he was afraid of people dividing the church through ulterior motives.
The pastor's letting me have this group of people that I can tell anything I want.
And so we went through a training, and we had meetings, and we want to multiply the ministry, and we realized that this is a biblical mandate anyway. But I understand how he felt that way, just because we have had groups where it's so easy for a disgruntled person to go to the group leader and start bad-mouthing the pastor. And does that home group leader, does that under shepherd have the heart of the pastor? Does he have the heart of the Lord? Will he redirect that person back to the pastor and not undermine the pastor's authority by doing an Absalom thing where we're pulling off over here and I'll help you? And, we've had it happen. And, sorry that it happened, but that was what was in his heart. And that just showed itself, and of course it didn't last. It never does. So you have to have a commitment to understand the vision of the pastor and have enough respect for the senior leader to commit to, if anybody comes to me, I'm directing them to, I mean, I do it a lot. I go to one of our home groups, or a couple of them actually, we visit them. And I've had people try to come to me to circumvent going to the home group leader, or just try to cause division, and I'll back the home group leader. And we have to be able to have that kind of understanding so the kingdom of God benefits, and to preserve love and unity.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
You know, that's important because sometimes when you, as a pastor, take faith and impart it to somebody, I believe in you, I want to see you do that. Sometimes because of our insecurities, that leadership role goes to our head. And we've got to say, I just serve you, Jesus, and I thank you for the opportunity to serve the people. And we always need to report back to our pastors, let them know what's going on. We can say through all the years we did this, we've had a lot of home groups. And I remember having one group that became a group of people that didn't go to our church anymore. The only thing they had in common is they don't go. They used to come to our church, but they don't anymore. But they all had some offenses. How many know that once a group of offended people get together, there's usually not good fruit from that? Okay?
Yeah, and so this is the biblical way, and of course, you know, we've all got the same Bible, and we know what it says, and how we're just supposed to go straight up to somebody and say, I need to talk this out with you. And, you know, it might be hard, but if you're having a home group anyway, you need to have that level of responsibility and willingness to communicate, even if it's hard or difficult sometimes. So we're going to break down, and he just talked about the hug leader, the responsibility, and we call the home group leader a facilitator, because as we said earlier, the home groups aren't a mini church service. It's a place to process the word, and there's different ways.
We'll have a mock home group towards the end where we'll show you what a home group should look like relatively.
So the hug leader is responsible for reporting directly to the senior pastors, and the way we do it is we have a monthly home group leaders